This episode of the Happy Diabetic Kitchen podcast is sponsored by my diabetes supplier, US Med. US Med offers free shipping and 90-day supplies with every order. To learn how they can simplify your diabetes care, call 888-885-0012 and feel the love. Reading a food label. Let me help you take the mystery out of that topic. This is the Happy Diabetic Kitchen, the podcast about people who love to eat and cook healthy. This is your guide to the world of healthy cooking and conversations about happy diabetic living and lifestyles, where we simply turn ordinary ingredients into something extraordinary. Welcome to the kitchen, and let's get cooking. Hello everyone, welcome to the Happy Diabetic Kitchen. I am Chef Robert Lewis, the Happy Diabetic. Welcome to the internet's most delicious cooking podcast. I'm here in the kitchen getting ready to explore a healthy diabetic lifestyle. I want to take the mystery out of healthy cooking, explore some amazing foods on my diabetic journey with all my successes and all my challenges. And let's just be honest, some failures in there too. Let me help you live your best happy diabetic lifestyle. So welcome to the kitchen. And if you're new to the show, I'm happy that you're here. With me always in the kitchen is my son Jason, engineer and producer of the podcast. Jason, how are you, buddy?
Great, how are you?
I am doing great. It's kind of a magical season of the year. Things are being harvested. Some amazing crops are happening. I love this time of year, farmers markets. You like farmers markets, Jace?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you like best about them?
I like all the food vendors. Sometimes there's some interesting stuff there.
Yeah?
I don't know, how about yourself?
Yeah, I love walking up and down. I mean, I love the free samples, right? I love when they cut up like the cantaloupes and whatever it may be. It's fun to taste. And I love talking to the farmers to really know where the food comes from and how it's being grown. And I'm leading that segue in because the recipe of the podcast is corn on the cob. Because corn on the cob, I mean, it's happening right now. And living in Iowa, we love corn. It's great. Now, I know it's got some carbohydrates going in there, but again, everything in moderation. Today in the podcast, I'm going to show you corn on the cob 3 different ways. So I think typically, well, let me ask you this question, Jason. When you think about cooking corn on the cob, how do you think about making it?
Well, up until recently, I would have thought boiling it probably.
I think you're right. Super common. Yeah. I mean, I like grilling it, like on a char grill. But today, no grilling. We're going to do it 3 different ways, and I'm going to guess there are 3 different ways you've never thought about cooking corn on the cob. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be really interesting. And we're going to talk about how to read a food label. One of the most confusing things ever, yet one of the most important things that if you're a person living with diabetes or trying to eat healthy, that food label is your roadmap to success. Okay, well, again, that and much, much more. It's a beautiful day in Iowa, and I think we should head in the kitchen. Jason, are you ready to start cooking?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Off we go. Hi everybody, I'm Chef Robert Lewis, and welcome back. So, here's what you need to know when reading food labels as a person living with diabetes like myself. And I've had diabetes since 1998. So my 5 tips to success, and I also want to give a big shout out to one of my favorite websites and some of the best people on the planet, Beyond Type 2. Many of these suggestions are right out of their playbook for success. So here we go. Just because a product claims it's fat-free or sugar-free or low sodium doesn't mean it's calorie-free. If those nutrients have been reduced, then check which other aspects of the products have been increased in comparison to a regular version of the product. The calories may be higher, or the amount of carbohydrates could be higher. You also could be missing out on some very important nutrients of a less refined product. So for me, I try to eat products that are less refined, closer to the earth. More refined products, typically more additives in those products. If a label claims it's low fat, then is its sugar content higher compared to its regular counterpart? So, it's pretty simple. Check and see what the claims are of the product. For example, people ask me all the time about sugar-free foods. I very rarely eat a processed food that says sugar-free because I know that many sugar-free foods are going to be higher in salt or even higher in carbohydrates. Ice cream is a really great example of that. So check the label to know for sure. Sometimes, for example, salad dressing is a great one. Sometimes just regular salad dressing that you buy in the bottle has less carbohydrates, less salt than a sugar-free or fat-free product. Buyer beware. Check the label. Okay, tip number 2. Check the serving size. Your calculations on carbs, fat, and protein will only be accurate if you know how many servings there are in a bag or container of that food. Check the serving size. It's super important. I've seen so many what look to be great recipes, for example, brownies, and the serving size says 1 square. Okay, and the 1 square might have so many carbs and fat and sugar, but then you look at the square and it's the size of a saltine cracker. I mean, let's be real. No one's going to eat just one brownie. So check your serving size. Super important. Okay, number 3. Read the list of ingredients closely. They're listed in order by weight, with typically the heaviest ingredients listed first. If the first few ingredients include flour and sugar, as an example, well, simply that tells you a lot about how it might impact your blood sugar, because things like flour and sugar have carbs, and those things tend to spike your blood sugar. So just be super aware. Read the ingredient list closely. That doesn't mean don't eat it. It means everything in moderation. Okay, let's move on. Tip number 4. Look at the total carbohydrates, because this micronutrient is what impacts your blood sugar the most. How many added sugars are within the total carb count? People get freaked out because they're looking at sugar a lot on the label. Not a bad thing, not a bad thing. But if you love potatoes, like baked potatoes, just remember that a potato is a pure carbohydrate. It's a pure bag of sugar. So if you were to look at the nutritional content, there wouldn't be much actual sugar, at least no added sugar. So again, this is why I say, if you're going to eat a baked potato, eat one that's the size of a computer mouse or the palm of your hand, a reasonable portion. Right? Makes sense to me. Look at the total carbohydrates, because that will impact your blood sugar. And my last tip, number 5, try to eat more whole foods that are naturally lower in cholesterol, sodium, saturated, and trans fats. Whole foods also contain more fiber, vitamins, and minerals. I like to think of it as eating foods that are processed close to the earth. Like, for example, old-fashioned oatmeal opposed to instant oatmeal. Anytime you can eat more whole grain bread, tree barky whole grain bread, more natural foods, things that aren't processed, just have more fiber, have more vitamins, and have more minerals. Your blood glucose will love you for that. Okay, that's it. When we come back, it's recipes of the podcast, fresh corn on the cob, 3 different ways. See you soon. Receiving your medical supplies like glucose monitors and insulin pumps can sometimes be a hassle, even painful. Painful is taking blood out of your fingertip to test your glucose, but not with US Med. Their motto is better service, better care. It's what they call white glove service, and that's what I experienced. I was worn out by having to make multiple trips to the pharmacy, only to discover the orders were not ready. Long lines, or we need to call your doc to confirm the refill. And they would say, don't worry, we'll take care of everything. Then only to find out 2 weeks later that the doc has not responded to the email or the fax. I would reach out again to the pharmacy, and they would say the doc never called us back, and they never followed up. That's the thing I hated the most. Do what I did. Head over to usmed.com. You'll find the link at happydiabetic.com right on the front page. Are you ready for US Med to always provide you 90 days worth of supplies and fast free shipping? That's right, free shipping. They carry everything from insulin pumps, diabetes testing supplies, to the latest CGMs. The Freestyle Libre 2 and the Dexcom G6. Now, you know how much I love the Libre 2 system. I have it on right now. It's a great system, but to have it delivered simple and easy was amazing. If you're just starting with Medicare like me, I know that's hard to believe, US Med should be your next call. You're going to talk to an operator who will know you by name, have your information, courteous, quick, helpful, and knowledgeable. They cover broad private insurance coverages, over 800 private insurers, and they are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. If you're looking for supplies, everything from insulin pumps, diabetes testing supplies, to the latest CGMs, well, and if you're looking for better service delivered right to your door, US Med might be just what you're looking for. usmed.com or call 888-885-0012. Don't wait any longer. I'm glad I called, and I can tell you this, I am feeling so much love. Okay, hold on. I think I hear my doorbell. That must be my 90-day supply. Welcome back, everybody. Let's get into my recipes of the podcast. 3 ways to cook fresh corn that I'm guessing you've never done before. So the first method we're going to use uses no husk. So you're just going to take corn on the cob. You're going to husk it all off. Clean the silk, the husk, everything. Wash it really good. So then we're going to wet a paper towel. Wring it out. You don't want it like soaking wet, but just damp. And you're going to wrap the ear of the corn in a moist towel. Paper towel works best. We're going to place it on a dinner plate, and we're going to cook it in the microwave, depending on the size of your corn, for about 5 minutes. Carefully remove the paper towel and enjoy. That's it. Simple and easy. Don't have to boil anything. You don't have to grill anything. Cover it with a paper towel in a microwave. 5 minutes, 4 to 5, maybe 6, depending on the size of the corn. Carefully remove the paper because that baby is going to be hot. Eat and enjoy. All right, so that's the first method of corn on the cob, no husk. The second method is, again, utilizing the microwave, but in the husk. This is one of my favorite ways to fix corn on the cob. As a matter of fact, even tonight for dinner, I'm doing it just this way. So even if I had a lot to make, it works really, really great. So without water from boiling, because we're not going to boil anything, the corn stays nice and sweet. So here we go. We're going to take your corn, 1, 2, 3, 4 ears, whatever. We're going to rinse the entire corn under cold water. They don't have to soak, just rinse them really good and leave the husk on. Now, you can cook them with the husk, or again, you could put a paper towel in there if you want. Sometimes it makes it easy to handle. You're going to cook the corn in the microwave until hot and cooked through. Again, anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. Remove from the microwave and let it rest for at least 2 to 3 minutes. The husk is going to slide right off. The silk is going to slide right off. It's going to be amazing. So remember that cooking time is a variable. I cook one large ear for 5 minutes in a 1,000 watt oven. And listen, don't get all excited now. If you don't know what wattage your oven is, if you don't see the label, most of them are either 900 to 1,000 watts. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat the little stuff. If you have a small ear of corn, you'll need to adjust the time. Simple and easy. Now remember, there's no need to remove the corn silk. When you take the husk off, the silk comes right along with it, and your corn is as clean as it can be. Because the corn is hot, I use a clean dish cloth to remove the husk. Just don't burn yourself. That's it. Simple and easy. Now I did a little nutritionals, and depending on the size of your corn, it could be different. But there's about 77 calories, proteins about 3 grams, calories about 16 to 17 grams, fat about 1 gram, and sodium about 12 to 13. Simple, easy, delicious. So that was microwave corn with the husk. All right, I've saved the best for last. Now, I'm also going to cook some corn this method too today. Have you ever cooked corn on the cob in the oven with the husk and everything? Now, you might have oven roasted corn. I've done that lots of times. Olive oil, salt, pepper, 425 degrees till it's nice and charry and delicious. That's really great. But this time, there's never been an easier way to cook corn in the husk. So I've got 4 ears of corn, and they're in the husk. Or 1 ear of corn per person if you're serving more people. Place the corn directly onto the oven rack. No need to wash the corn. You can rinse it. No big deal. Put it right on the oven rack in the middle of the rack. Turn on the oven at 350. So don't put it in a preheated oven. Put the corn in there. Turn the oven on 350. Roast the corn for about 30 minutes. Remove it from the heat. Remove it from the oven. Allow for it to cool a little bit because, hey, the cobs are going to be hot and they're hard to handle. Let them cool just a little bit. Then what I like to do is take a knife, cut the tip off. About 1 inch or 2 inches, cut the tip off, and you can easily slip the husks and silks right off, and you're going to immediately serve it with your favorite toppings. That's it. Corn on the cob, 3 ways. Simple and delicious. I hope you try them. I will post these methods on my blog at happydiabetic.com. Look for the blog title, 3 ways to cook corn on the cob, and you will find them there. All right. That's it for the recipe cut for the hold on. That's it for the recipe of the podcast. We will be right back. So be sure to follow me on all my social links. You'll simply find them all at happydiabetic.com. Just look for all my links at the top right-hand side of the page. And hey, if you have a question for me, go to my website, hit the contact tab, you ask questions, I'll answer them, and who knows, they might even become part of the next show. Maybe I'll select your question and send you some cookbooks as a big thank you. Thank you for listening, and if you are loving what you hear in the kitchen, please leave a comment or feedback at Stitcher, Google Play, or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening. Your thoughts and comments are very much appreciated. Thank you again. Okay, that was fun and delicious. Our podcast is produced and engineered by Jason Lewis. Our theme music by the Happy Diabetic Kitchen Band. And of course, our kitchen mascots, Scout and Tucker. I'm not sure where they are, but it's a lazy day, and I'm guessing they're into mischief someplace. Hope not. Well, listen, thanks for tuning in, and let me leave you with this thought. My good friend, Dr. Steve Edelman, founder of Taking Control of Your Diabetes, TCOYD.org, once told me, "You are not what you eat, you are how much you eat. Wise words from an amazing endocrinologist. All right, so long for now, and remember, no one loves you more than me.